And bam, we are live. I'm pretty sure we're live. If you all have the YouTube link, it said go live, so I'm assuming we're live. But yeah, if you have the YouTube link and you want to just look at it to see how you look yourself,
AKA, go ahead and
oh, we can,
subscribe to Royal Empire. That's what she's
Get
saying.
my burgers from you.
That's what she's saying. Subscribe to the Royal Empire Network.
The link was in WhatsApp.
Oh, it's
Yeah, but I tagged. I couldn't.
Not the link.
It's okay.
Is it
We'll
on your
work out that
Facebook
case.
page?
Yes, it is a Facebook page.
845.
It should be on the flyer, but we'll drop the link in there. Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, it's a team.
It's tea.
Oh, you good?
I'm over here talking to myself.
Yes, it is team. Well, you gotta talk to the people. You guys, we are live. Welcome to the premiere episode of the podcast version of Kicking It with Kay. I am your girl, Miss Angel Shantae, aka Boss Lady, and this is my lovely co-host, Coach Tanya Ford. We are here to bring you guys some great conversation, some understanding moments, some healing moments. We are live, so our RBJ has let us know that we can definitely be heard, so thank you for that. We are here this evening with the cast of Toxic, and we are bringing you
Yes.
and we
Y'all
are
can't
bringing
see it
you
'cause y'all
on
ain't on right
Toxic Tuesdays. So, just to give you all a few house rules, this is a safe space, and we are providing this platform to open up conversations about awareness and understanding relationships, love relationships, friend relationships, all types of relationships, all types of walks of life. Coach K is a sex therapist. She is a she is a certified
Sexologist.
sexologist.
Master sexologist.
She is.
Yes.
You tell them what you are. Tell them what you do.
I was just.
Tell them what you do. Because you making me talk.
I am.
Go
I'm a
ahead.
certified sexologist and master sexologist, life coach, doula, business coach, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of things under the bucket, but all it goes hand in hand with each other. Okay, I'm gonna throw it back to
You
you.
said you're a master sexologist?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So I took the
I
certification.
think she got the black belt.
I took the certification to take it to, so you can choose to just be a master sexologist or you can be a clinical sexologist. So I'm a clinical sexologist and master. So if I just want to use it for fun, it's the master sexologist. But for teaching purposes and coaching purposes, the clinical piece is add on. I just say do it all.
And she does do it all, and she does it all well. Kanya and I met beating the pavement back when I was searching for venues before I was actually in my venue, and we used to have a lot of in-depth and very valuable conversations. I think I was subconsciously picking her brain before she started getting the certifications, but I love her transparency, and I love being able to have conversations with her. So we figured it would be great to share her with the rest of you guys, to open up some great conversation, and so that's what we are doing. Welcome, Brian. How are you? We got one more castmate joining us. Thank you so much for being here. I am good. I am going to probably go ahead and pull up my Facebook because I have people that are asking, and normally I would do this before we start, but it's the first episode, so we're working out some kinks. But we're going to go ahead and jump into tonight's main topic of conversation, which is pre and postpartum intimacy. And we're going to talk and delve into that for a little bit. And then after that, we've got some story times and some sharing moments from the cast of Toxic. And then we're actually going to get into toxic relationships and share with you guys some of our experiences. Some of our experiences. If you guys are subscribed to the YouTube or on any of the live platforms that are running right now, please feel free to jump in the comments and share your experiences as well, or your thoughts or your views. This is a safe space, and we like to be respectful of everyone's opinion, whether or not we agree with it or not. But we do provide this platform for everyone to be able to share in their opinions and in their thought processes. So I'm going to throw it back to you for just a moment, because when we're doing these episodes, we do confer with each other to figure out what topics we want to bring to conversation. And a lot of times I end up with questions because I'm human and I go through shit. But I also I'm a conversationalist, and so I like to speak to people. And I have a lot of friends and colleagues who will speak to me or ask me questions. I'm the magnet, and I appreciate it and I love it. But when she gave me this topic, I actually had been up at 2:00 in the morning the same morning with a friend of mine. And so when she hit me with the topic, I said, "Ooh, you know what? We may need to bring this out." I was speaking to a friend of mine who was actually, unfortunately, in the process of going through divorce, and oddly enough, the start to the separation from his and his wife's relationship was postpartum lack of libido. And so, unfortunately, they went through other things that caused the marriage to not be able to work in light of that and other situations. But until having that conversation, it was never a thought of mine that that was something that, people look at or don't look at before entering into relationships. I'm a mother. I know I had children young, early 20s. I did not speak to my partner at the time about libido or losing it or gaining it during pregnancy or before or after pregnancy. And so a lot of times we get into relationships where we enter these ships and we don't have these conversations ahead of time. And the goal is to be proactive so that once you're in a relationship, you have a great foundation. We were talking earlier about nurturing, because you're going to talk to, we were talking earlier about nurturing the relationship. And so many times people get hung up on the actual marriage itself instead of trying to work on the relationship between the two people and the interpersonal connection there. So why don't you speak to people? Speak to the people.
Talk to the people.
Yeah, speak to the people about this post and prepartum intimacy and what this looks like between some of the couples that you work with or just in general.
Just in general.
Just in
So
general.
I brought this up because I have 5 children, and I know with each one it was something different. And I think it's an important topic because we don't think about pre and post intimacy. We worry about sex, but we don't worry about pre and postpartum intimacy because mom body turns into sometimes a milking factory, and you turn into mom, and then dad is kind of left over here like, yeah, I'm dad, but what the hell else do I do? Nobody's telling me what to do. And I always like to bring it up because I think men get a lot of short ends of the stick. Because we go through birth, we go through gaining the weight, we go through all of the things, all of the feels. We can tell you, I got gas today, my stomach hurt, I'm sick, go get me this thing to eat. But you don't know as a man how that actually feels. We know how it sucks. So we're looking at you like, why don't you just know this? Why didn't you have this thing done when I asked you to do this? And so we're angry. That tears away the intimacy, especially if you haven't built up your intimacy bank. So a lot of times you hear me talk about the intimacy bank. What are the things that you're doing that have nothing to do with what you were asked? The assumption thing is a whole nother conversation. We can go into another day. When I had my number 3, so I have to number them because the names are a lot. So when I had number 3, I was probably 24-ish. I had my first 18, 19, waited a little while. So number 3 came along. It's my husband's first time with a newborn in the house. And I distinctly remember that I needed to go to the store. I needed pads. I needed other things just to be comfortable in the house. So I am like a day out of the hospital. I had just come out of being a single mother of 2 kids under 20. Then I met my husband. So I know how to get it done. So I'm like, hey, I need to get some things from the store. My husband's young. He was probably 20, maybe. And so he was like, well, I don't want to go to the store. I was like, well, fuck it, I'll go. Here, take the baby. And I'm out one day out of the hospital in Target, literally, with 2 of my other kids. And I'm shopping. I wasn't angry. I was numb. Growing up, I look back. I never explained to him the importance of me not being up in Target a day after getting out of the hospital, shopping around for the things I need. I never said to him, well, this is what I need you to do. What I did was I just sucked it in, went back into single parent mode, and I just did it. So that could have showed up later, which a lot of times, that could have showed up later when I was mad at something else. And I could have lashed out. And I'm pretty sure I did. I'm 45. I'll be 45 this year. So I'm pretty sure I did at some point. Probably lash out. But hindsight, I always like to, even we'll be married 18 years, 20 some together. Even 20 years later, I'm okay with going back and saying, during that time, this happened, because you don't know how much a man truly files away and holds right here when it comes to the woman that he's with and who he loves. And you don't know what that can turn into. It can turn into, I just need to make sure I'm there all the time, or it can turn into anger. It can turn into frustration. It can turn into, I don't know what to do. You don't need me. So why am I here? But we don't give that conversation enough opportunity. There are postpartum classes for women. There are birthing classes and Lamaze classes. Dads are welcome, right? They're welcome. It's not a class for him, but they're welcome. And you take it as a man. Okay, I'll show up. Or I don't even have to be there because it's optional for me. That's your class. So now we're looking at you like, well, why the hell don't you want to come? And he's looking at me like, well, shit, she said it was optional. So why do I need to go? You the one got to know how to do this thing. You got to get up on that table and squat, lay back, or whatever you got to do. I just got to stand there and hold your feet, probably, or sleep on the sofa. But that's not the reality. And so when it does happen, you get these viral videos. My man over there sleep on the sofa. He doing this. He done went out. He got chicken wings, and I'm over here doing this. Did you say, actually, we have a class that we need to go to? Did you have that discussion of, during labor, this is what I need you to do? We don't have those discussions. We just assume. Naturally, our bodies know what to do. Instinctually, we know what to do. How in the hell does a man without a uterus know instinctually or in his body what to do? How?
That's where that communication comes in. He's not going to know it necessarily naturally. It's not going to be instinctual naturally. But I feel like that's where the conversation would or should come in a relationship, to find out, A, what your partner needs. Are you able to give your partner what they need? And then also, in exchange, what do you need? Because you're right, a lot of times the pregnancy is geared toward the woman and is woman focused. Men lose a lot of the focus during the pregnancy. They get that child support or they get that spousal support. They get all of the things that they're supposed to do. Right, the things that they're supposed to do. And after the child is here. But a lot of times the pregnancy process is not necessarily centered around the man or what the man needs. And men go through those things as well. I've seen guy friends that gain weight when their women were pregnant, right along with the
hormonal changes.
The hormonal changes.
We don't recognize
absolutely.
that. As women, we don't recognize that men also go through hormonal changes.
I recognize it because my husband went through it with me. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
Mm-hmm.
I had 4 children and was married before I was 21.
Well, damn.
So me and Reggie been together 26, going on 27 years.
All right.
We've been married 22 years. To your point, y'all touched on a lot. We had a baby, or our daughter's a twin.
Mm-hmm.
We lost one at birth. So the postpartum hit different.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting to have 2 children and you leave with one. And I shut down.
Yep.
So instinctually he had to step up because I didn't hear my child cry. I wasn't aware enough to know that she was hungry or anything, because at the end of the day I looked at her and I didn't see 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for a mother or a female or a parent in general to admit jealousy towards a child,
There you go.
lack of towards a child, because that is something that happens. I had to identify it within myself because I was jealous of my daughter and my husband's relationship,
Yeah.
because I went my entire life until last year without having my father.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't realize that you're projecting forward,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're going to father-daughter dances and they're doing things and you're like, oh, I did good because she has her dad. But then you're mad because why is he taking her out?
And that
And you
man.
have to check yourself, like, this is crazy. She like 5.
But I'm glad you said that she was 5 because postpartum doesn't stop
It doesn't.
because a child can walk and talk and feed themselves. So thank you for saying that.
Because it's a very real thing, and postpartum can happen when they're 14 and 15 because it kicks you back into a place of now they're at another point or another stage where they don't need you as much, and you go back into that point or that void,
And the relationship shifts.
and it shifts.
Yes.
So that's another stage.
Raise an independent person.
So it can shift again. So
And all the consideration goes to mom, right?
yeah.
We care. Are you okay? We have support groups for mom. But dad lost a child too. And his natural instinct of protector kicked in because you were meek and you could not do. So I'm going to be a protector and a provider. But not in the sense that we've grown to know that just give you things and make sure that general tasks are doing. That's where the conversation of the nurturing part for dad comes in. Now he can read if he may have seen you with other kids or he learned because let me back this up. There's 15 things going on. So when little boys are little boys and they pick up a doll baby and someone snatches this doll baby out of their hand and says, "What the hell is wrong with you? You can't play with no doll." What you think a damn baby is? When he's 20 years old, are you gonna snatch that child out of his hands? So when little boys are naturally trying to get that same nurturing instinct, we stop it out of them. We tell them, stop, what's wrong with you? You don't play with dolls. When all they were doing was caring for a small being. But we're so fearful of what's probably not in the household whatsoever that we stop men from their natural nurturing mode. And so then when they're older and they have to do it, now you got more pressure on you. What's wrong with you? Why you don't know how to do this? Why didn't you do this? Why did it? Well, it was beat out of me when I was little. Damn, I couldn't cry. I couldn't pick up a kid. I couldn't cook in the little kitchen set that I wanted to get because Daddy said that's gay. I couldn't do all that. Now you want me to just after 30 years of my life figure this shit out?
Ooh, you said 30, child. You better dial that back to 16.
That is true.
And that's true.
That is true.
They ain't made it to 30. And
Did you have some input? Because I see your mind is going a mile a minute. In that corner.
I'm listening.
He's definitely listening.
Active
I'm listening. This
Active
is my
listening.
active listening.
That's what active listening. Well, since you're actively listening, real quick, since you all are giving input, and thank you all so much for the input, you want to go ahead and introduce our guests? You want to let them introduce themselves so that people know who's speaking? You want to
I think
introduce
that
yourself?
they should. Let me turn. Oh, for Instagram, if y'all not on YouTube, sorry, we about to leave y'all. So I see you on YouTube because it's too many to keep up with. We just
It's a lot of
go to.
screens, yes.
Let me.
Um,
Okay, let's turn around. Let's.
Valuable input from our panel. We're gonna start with the gentleman who was responsible for us being here
Bring this
this
all together.
evening. Yes, Mr. Eric Brown. Would you introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are and what it is that you do? And then we'll take one pass it down format. We'll just go this way.
My name is Eric Brown. My pen name is Cinnamon Brown. I'm the writer-producer for Cinnamon Brown Entertainment here in Richmond, Virginia.
oh, that would be me. Okay, so I am affectionately known in these parts as Chef Todd, but you are going to get to know Tynella Hall, the actress.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. I'm Stormy, also known as Stormy the model, and you found actress and stuff, so y'all gonna see me and get to know me and everything.
Hey y'all, I'm Shia, also an actress, dancer, and I'm also a cheer coach in my own business.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. I'm taking the E.
Close as hell to my
I mean,
You are good though. You are good. I'm looking at you. You look good.
Ethan X. Evans, I'm a film director, director of Toxic and other films.
awesome.
And documentaries.
Hello.
You said that who?
And documentaries.
Documentaries, all kinds of stuff, yeah.
I'm Brian Dargan. I'm a producer for Toxic and Cuffed, and I also am the founder of a foundation, Joan L. Dargan Foundation.
We're gonna hear more about that a little bit later.
Hi, I'm Dominique.
Yeah, and I'm an actress.
That's all you need to know.
Like, that's it.
Period.
Period.
Female
Hi,
drinker.
I'm Joyce Sarah Brewer. I play Jennifer in Toxic. I'm an actress, and I also run Brewer's Cafe with my husband.
Yes, ma'am. And actively listening.
Active listener, yeah. Robert Brown Jr., RBJ. I'm a owner of RBJ Entertainment. I'm a film director, writer, director, and actor, and comedian. All right.
Yeah.
Definitely a comedian. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys, this is the cast of Toxic, which we're going to get into the second half of this broadcast. So thank you guys so much for being here. Where do we leave off?
So I'm just going to wrap up the pre and postpartum discussion because I think it segues really, it goes into what could create some toxic relationships. So the bottom line is when it comes to all things new baby, pregnancy, just monthly hormones in general, learn each other, ask questions, don't assume. And that's the bottom line. There are no rules in between that. You take that and that's what you do with it. So, let's talk about some Toxic Tuesday. Officially! Oh, did anyone have any questions?
They ready to get into
Okay.
some toxicity. So yes, at the beginning of the first quarter of each Kicking It with Kate segment, we are going to bring you guys some great tidbits and some informational and some educational, some learning bits as well. But I know we are all waiting to get into the juiciness of all things that are toxic. So if you are on the YouTube, because the YouTube is definitely up. If you are on the YouTube, we're going to get into this toxic trailer. Eric, can you let the people know real quick before we get into this trailer a little bit about Toxic the movie and how it came to be a thing, how it came about?
It came from our first movie most of us worked on together, Cuffed. And we were at the premiere and guys were asking like, why the guys always got to be the bad guy? And I came out of the Q&A session from the panelists and was like, I'm working on it. So, and talking to people, I created a composite of characters where the guy is actually the nice person in the film, but the women in his life around him are actually the toxic individuals and how that plays out. Typically, toxic men are physically abusive. That's typically how it all works out. With the female relationships, it's usually emotional abuse, usually manipulation. And that's harder to see, and it's a longer play in getting what they want out of the relationship. So that's kind of how it came about. So I decided when people